With the video working. Raise your hand if the video worked just fine. Raise your hand. Okay, yay. All right, here we go. So you guys, we're going to be doing all these lines and slope and all this business for a while, okay, which I think is good news because it's pretty straightforward and you've done it for a while. So let's talk about slope. Remember we talked about last time that slope is just the steepness of a line, okay? So who skis or snowboards? Show me, raise your hand. Okay, isn't it the best? That's a lot of people. Show me again. My hand's up. I love it. So I'm kind of a scaredy cat. I don't want to get hurt. I love it, but I'll do a nice blue run once in a while, like maybe a double blue. And so, you know, my slope is probably like that. I don't want to go much more because I don't want to hurt myself. I want to have fun. You know what I mean? You guys are probably way more aggressive than me. So yours probably looks, you know, well, let's go even more. You guys probably go down something, you know, maybe like that, like John Paul or something. Not me. Okay, so that's all slope is. It's how steep the line is. That's it. Okay, so we talked about last time slope and average rate of change. Those are used interchangeably, and I will use them interchangeably. So you just need to know that those are the same thing. Okay, and it's how steep the line is. Okay, and what it means is how far you go up over how far you go right or left. So it's up and down. That's rise. Over right and left, okay? So do this right here on your paper. So the top number, if the top number is a positive, you're going to go up. And if the top number is a negative, then you're going to go down. As far as the bottom number goes, if it's a positive, you're going to go right. And if it's a negative, you're going to go left. Okay, now I'm going to say something to you right now that might be confusing, so try to watch, okay, would you? I rarely do this. I rarely go left. Here's why. If you have 1/2 that's a negative, and that's your slope, I always put the negative on the top. So that would be a -1/2. So the -1 tells me to go down 1, and the 2 is a positive, so it tells me to go right 2. So if I have a negative, I always push it to the top, therefore I never go left. I always go right, because my bottom number will always be positive. Who says I gotcha? Let me see, raise your hand. Okay, great. Okay, you guys, you have to know the difference between vertical and horizontal, okay? I used to struggle with this. I'm just going to be honest with you, okay? So everybody look. If you're looking across the horizon, show me what the horizon looks like. Yeah, does the sun set like this? Do you go like this to watch the sunset across the horizon? No, this is horizon, so this is horizontal, okay? And then this is vertical. So this is your vertical, okay? So everybody go like this. Draw your XY axis. And this is your vertical line. So if I had a line that looked like this, then your vertical intercept would be right there. It's where it touches the Y axis, okay? And in this class, I want you to remember that I always want you to write that as an ordered pair. Okay, so let's say that was 2, then that point would be, don't go right or left, that would be 0, and then go up 2. That's how you'd write it, okay? Here's what you need to remember about vertical intercept. You let the X value be a 0. The X is a 0 because you don't go right or left. You just go up or down. So that front number is always a 0. Who says, I understand what you're saying to me? Raise your hand. Let me see. Okay, great. Okay, question 1. Use the given information to find the slope, the vertical intercept, and decide whether or not it's a function, and then to graph it. Okay. Right underneath that, I want everybody to write y equals mx plus b. Okay. Now, m is the slope, and it's supposed to be a fraction. So in the equation, I'm going to put 2/1. when you report it as a slope, do you have to write it as 2 over 1? No, I'm doing the 1 because I want to know how many I'm going right or left, right? So the slope is a 2. You guys, it's not 2x. X is not part of the slope. It's just the number, okay? The y-intercept is the vertical intercept, and you find that when x is a 0, okay? This b is your vertical intercept. It's right there. So your y-intercept is -1, okay? Now let's graph it. Okay, everybody watch. Don't go right or left, but go down 1. That's where it's going to hit the y-axis, okay? And then the slope is 2 over 1. Everybody write 2 over 1. Remember, the 2 tells you to go up or down. The 1 tells you to go right or left. So everybody in the room tell me, do I go up 2 or down 2? Why up 2? Because it's a positive. And then the bottom number is always going to be positive, so we're always going to go right. So up 2, right 1. Do I put my pencil at the origin, everybody, or do I put it on the dot? On the dot, right? So go to the dot, up 2, right 1. Do it again. Up 2, right 1. Do it again. Up 2, right 1. Do it again. Up 2, right 1. I'm going to show you a trick. Do the opposite of up. That would be down. Do the opposite of right, that would be left. It still works. So go down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1. They're all in a line, okay? Now grab your pencil and connect those dots. If we're connecting the dots, you guys, is that called discrete or is it called continuous? Continuous. Everybody in the room tell me, is that line a function? Yes, it is. Why is it a function? Talk to me. Passes the vertical line test. Yes, thank you. Okay, let's do the next one. Okay, question B looks weird. Everybody stop. If you ever see something that looks ugly, don't deal with it. Make it look beautiful. Make it look better. Someone tell me how to make that look better so it's not confusing. Thank you.
Just switch the 2/3 x.
Yeah, let's reorder it. Thank you so much. So you have y equals 2/3 x minus 3, like that. Good. Make sure you're not going ahead of me, okay? Everybody in the room, tell me what the slope is. It is 2/3, so go 2 over 3. I really encourage you to make your fraction bar horizontal. I do not encourage you to write it like that. I think that is going to cause you some problems, okay? So don't write it as a slanted fraction, write it as a horizontal, okay? The y-intercept, you write it as an ordered pair, and it is 0, comma, everybody in the room shout that out. -3. Good, let's graph it. Don't go right or left, but go down 3. You guys, the top number in the slope is a 2. Everybody in the room tell me, up 2 or down 2? Up 2 because it's positive. And the 3 tells me to go where, everybody? Right 3. Very good. So go to that dot, go up 2, right 3, up 2, right 3. Go back to that y-intercept and go down 2 and left 3. Down 2 and left 3. Connect your dots, and you're done. Everybody in the room tell me, is it a function? Yes, it is. Good. Okay, let's keep going. Jane, what time did I tell you that we needed to start, honey? 25? Okay. So we're good. I think we might even finish by then. That's nice. Okay, horizontal intercept. Okay, here's horizontal. Okay, everybody draw the XY axis. It's right there. Horizontal is across the horizon, right? Put a dot right here. Let's say that was like a +3 or something, +4 maybe. And if I drew a line that went like this, you guys, then this is the horizontal intercept. Horizontal is x. I'm going to use those interchangeably, and you have to be okay. You have to know that horizontal intercept just means x-intercept. Notice that ordered pair is 4, 0. What do you notice about the y? It's a 0. How do you notice that? Or why is that? Because you don't go up or down. The y tells you how far to go up or down. Well, I've got to stay on the x-axis, so I'm not going to go up or down. So your horizontal intercept is always going to look like this. Some number and then a 0. Okay? Here's example 2. A rocket is shot into the air. The graph of the height of the rocket is a function of the time it's given. That makes sense. Everybody look. Remember, the first thing is your output. Output goes on the y-axis, and then time is the input, and that goes on the x-axis. Find both the horizontal and the vertical intercepts and interpret the practical meaning of each. Okay, horizontal. Everybody in the room, listen to me. Okay, I want your body to move. Show me a horizontal line with your arm. Okay, is that the x-axis or y-axis? X, so you let what be a 0 if you're finding the x-axis? Tell me. X-intercept, pardon me, let y be a 0. So you're going to let y be a 0. You have two horizontal intercepts, guys. They are here and here. So I'm going to list them both. So I'm going to write them as 0, 0 and 8, 0. Let's do the vertical intercept. Vertical. Everybody in the room, show me a vertical line with your arm. What is it? Good. And that's the what axis? Everybody talk to me. Y. So to find the y-intercept, I'm going to let what be a 0? Talk to me. The x be a 0, right? Now look at the graph. It's a 0, 0. Okay? I'm going to give you 1 minute to write a sentence about what 0, 0 means. I'm going to give you a hint. Okay? I want you to talk about the word height, and I want you to talk about the word time. Go ahead. I'm going to call on someone randomly, and you guys have no idea who I'm going to call on. So you have to be ready, because it might be you. Okay? Okay. Joe, what'd you write?
At 0 seconds, it is 0 feet in the air.
Okay, I would accept it. I would absolutely accept it. I think it's a little awkward. I think it's just a little awkward, but I would totally accept it. Does anybody feel like maybe what they wrote might feel a little less awkward? Because, like, here's what I'm saying, Joe. Would you ever go up to your buddy and say, at 0 seconds, it's 0 feet in the air? You know what I mean? It's kind of awkward. So try to just do it in normal language. Yes. It hasn't taken off yet. No time has passed. But there's a little piece missing of that. I'm going to write something. You guys are going to help me finish it, okay? Everybody write this down. When the rocket is shot, everybody write this with me. When the rocket is shot, can anybody finish it? Go ahead, try, honey.
When the rocket is shot, it is 0 feet up in the air.
Good. So what's another way to say it's 0 feet up in the air? You're exactly right, honey. It's 0 feet in the air. What do you say?
Ground level.
It's on the ground, right? Is a rocket always going to be on the ground when it's shot? What if it's up on a mountain, right? And then you shoot it. So 0, 0 means no time has passed and you have no height. So that means when you begin, it's on the ground. That's easy to understand. Do you see, Joe, how that's less awkward, right? Okay, when the rocket's shot, it is on the ground. And then after that, I want you to put the ordered pair 0, 0. Okay, now I'm going to give you 1 minute to interpret 8, 0. You have a sentence that you're going to write. I'm going to call on somebody and you don't know who I'm going to call on. Interpret in a sentence 8, 0. Here are your grace cards, honey. You're not going to want to lose those, okay?
Sure.
Hey, by the way, I didn't tell you this, and I'll tell you in a minute. I have to tell you. Don't want to be on recording. Okay, we're gonna do it. Kirsten, read your sentence, sweetheart.
I said after 8 seconds, the rocket will have landed.
That's it. It's so like easy. And it's so like not awkward. You're exactly right, honey. So she said after 8 seconds, the rocket has landed. I would have said after 8 seconds, the rocket is on the ground again. Something like that. Yours is great. Mine's great. We're all good. Okay. Practical meaning of the vertical intercept is pretty much the first sentence that we wrote. Okay. So we're good on example 2. Okay. We can graph a line if we know both the intercepts. Okay. So let's do that. Horizontal intercept. You guys just shout this out. Okay. So everybody participate. Is the horizontal intercept the x-intercept or the y-intercept? It's the x. So you let what be a 0? You let y be a 0. Okay? So let's go into this equation and let's let y be a 0. Now it's kind of squishy, and I'm sorry about that. Everybody go 0 equals negative 2x plus 4. We haven't really done a lot of equation work yet in here, so here we go. Okay, now everybody do this. Minus 4, cross out the 4's on the right, and you have negative 4 equals negative 2x. Guess what? You don't have to write that down. You can just do it in your head. And I actually would prefer you not write it down. Okay, if you must write the minus 4, it's going to stress you out, then do it. But I don't require it. Okay. To solve this, divide by a negative 2. Everybody write this down with me. So then you have 2 equals x. Guess what? You don't have to show that divide 2. You can just do that in your head. But then I remember, oh yeah, I have to write this as a point. So then I realize that it's 2, 0, and I'm good. Okay? Everybody in the room, talk to me. Vertical intercept. Is that an x-intercept or a y-intercept? Talk to me. To y. So I'm going to let what be what? Talk to me. X be a 0. Remember the vertical intercept, you guys, is always just right there. It's what the b is. So it's 0, 4, and we're done. Now let's graph it. So 2, 0 horizontal is there. 0, 4 vertical is there. Connect your dots, and you're done. Literally, that's so easy to graph. Just play dot to dots like when you were little. Okay? 0. There's like 3 or 4 more words that mean the same thing as 0. Can you shout one out? Say it again. Horizontal intercept. Wonderful. Write that down. Everybody write that down. Horizontal intercept. There's another one. I can think of 2 left for sure. Shout them out. Somebody tell me. Don't ever be shy in here. Don't ever be afraid. Nobody's ever going to make fun. What's another name for a 0 or a horizontal intercept? Come on. Say it again. The x-intercept. Good. I can think of 2 more. I'm not letting you off the hook. Solution. And there's one more, and this one's kind of weird, I think. Yeah. A 0, we got that right there. Good. Okay, anybody else? It's called a root sometimes. That's why I think math is confusing. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that all mean the same thing. That's confusing, okay? So what's the 0? It's going to be x equals is how you write it. And it's where you hit the x-axis, which is right there. So your answer is x equals 2, and you're done with that. Okay, let's do the next one. Horizontal intercept. You guys, horizontal is x. So you let y be a 0. Now this is going to be a little bit tougher, so watch with me, okay? Everybody go 0 equals 2/3 x plus 1. Everybody in the room, shout out, what do I have to do right now? Everybody talk to me. Move your 1 over, right? So now I have 2/3 x equals -1. Sometimes I'll move the 1 and then I flip the order. So I just kind of did 2 steps in one. Move the 1 to the left and wrote it in a different order. Someone tell me how to get rid of the 2/3. You can times by 3, and that will take care of the 3. How do you take care of the 2? divide by 2. Or a better way is just multiply by the reciprocal, which is 3 over 2. Because then look what happens. The 2's cancel and the 3's cancel, and you get x equals, a negative 1 times 3/2 is just a negative 3/2. I never write that as 1 1/2. Never. And I don't encourage you to. I don't think it's necessary. And I think sometimes you mess up when you do that. So it's just negative 3/2 comma 0. You have to show all that work over there. Okay? Vertical is here. That's y. So you let x be a 0. And you guys know the vertical intercept is always written right there. So it's 0 comma 1. Okay? Let's graph it. Horizontal, negative 1 1/2 comma 0, negative 3 over 2 comma 0. If you don't know what 3 over 2 is equal to, just grab your calculator and punch 3 divide 2 equals, and you got it. Okay? And then the vertical intercept is don't go right or left, but go up 1, connect your dots, and you got it. Remember, the 0 is just where it touches the x-axis, so you're going to go x equals, and it's the horizontal intercept, which is 3/2, and you're done. So there are your 3 answers. Okay? Who says, this is easy, I get all this stuff. Let me see. Yay. Doesn't that feel good? All right. How many more do we have? I want to see how close we are. Woo! It's kind of long. I'm going to pick up my pace a little bit. I want to try to finish by 8:30 so we can have 30 minutes on our corrections. Okay. A 0, we talked about this. A 0, a horizontal intercept, and x-intercept all mean the same thing. Determine the 0. To determine the 0, you're going to let y be equal to 0. So go into that equation, and now I'm stressed out, everybody, because I don't even see a y. Somebody tell me. What is it? That's the f of x. Good. So you have 0 equals 3x plus 10. In your head, move the 10 over. So that gives me 3x equals negative 10. If you write negative 10 equals 3x, that's totally fine. Okay? Divide by 3, you get x equals negative 10/3. Now, I have a question. Should I write that as x equals negative 10/3, or should I write it as an ordered pair? Sometimes I write it as an ordered pair, and sometimes I write it as x equals. Someone tell me how I should write this. Say it again. No, but good try. Yes. It is x equals because you are looking for a 0. When would I write it as an ordered pair? If they say intercept. Yes, so good. Perfect, honey. Good. Okay, determine if x equals 2 is a 0. Determine if x equals 2 is a solution. So guys, listen. If x equals 2 is a solution, then when I plug it in, what will my y be? Think solutions are here on the x-axis. Anything that's a solution, tell me the value of the y. How far did I go up or down? I didn't, so it would be a 0. Good. So everybody go, f of 2 is equal to 2 times 2 minus 4. Now, I am having some trouble with you on your work. And I'm actually going to show you what I'm talking about in a minute. Actually, I'll show you like almost immediately. So 2 times 2 is 2. 4 minus 4 is a 0. Okay, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 4 is a 0. Okay, so do I get a 0? Yes. Is it a 0? Yes, it is. Okay, do me a favor and look right here for a second. Okay, what if you had this? Just look. If you had f of x is 2x squared minus 3x plus 1, and they want you to find f of x plus 1. Look what some of you are doing, okay? You're going 2 times x plus 1 squared minus 3 times x plus 1 plus 1. And then I see x plus 1 times x plus 1 is x to the second plus 2x plus 1. And then I see 2x to the second plus 4x plus 2, and then maybe minus 3x minus 3 plus 1, 2x to the fourth plus x, and then the numbers end up actually going away. So that would be your answer. This is unacceptable. It's not okay. What's wrong? The answer's right. The work is not good, and I know Weber State's not going to accept it. The work is choppy, and you cannot be choppy. Someone tell me what's wrong. What do I mean choppy? If you put this right here, and you put this guy right underneath it, you're saying that this and this, that these two things are completely identical. They are equivalent to each other. Is that true or false? Everybody in the room, come on. That's false. So what's wrong with my second line? I have to write the 2, and I have to write the -3 times x plus 1 plus 1. The next line is unacceptable. What's wrong with it? It's incomplete. It's choppy. So you have to have a 2 minus 3 times x plus 1 plus 1, then an equals, and then an equals. So the equals has to go straight down the left side, and every line has to be equivalent to each other. You can't just put part of a line. You have to put the whole line. Who says, I get that? Raise your hand, let me see. Okay, so be better. I didn't mark it, but I will on the test. Okay, question 6. The number of students at Apollo High School, that's where I used to teach in Arizona. I taught in Arizona for 8 years, and that was my school. I loved it. So the number of students enrolled at Apollo High School is increasing each year. In 1990, it was 2,100 students. Let's fill in that table. So not there, but right here. So year 0 is 2,100 students, okay? And then in 1995, the enrollment was 2,225. In 2000, it was 2,350. So years after 1990, you guys, if it's 1995, it's been 5 years later, so that would be 2225. If it's year 2000, it's been 10 years, and that is 2,350. So we just filled in the table. Is it a function? Think about it. You guys tell me, is it a function?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Please don't say this. None of the x's repeat. Okay? It's not a very deep answer. For any given year, could you report more than one number of students? Could you do that? In 1990, I had 2,100 and I had 4,000. Could you report 2 numbers? Everybody talk to me. No, it's either one or the other. Just like the boats. Remember the boats? At 8 o'clock, you have one number of boats in the water. Not 2, just 1. Okay? So is it a function? Yes, it is. Why? Okay. Each year will only report one number of students enrolled. Some of you are saying this. The number of years can't, a certain year cannot repeat. I don't love that. A certain year cannot repeat. Why can't it repeat? It's because you would never report 2 Y's. If it's this year, it's 1 Y. What's the enrollment? Who says I get that? Raise your hand, let me see. Great. What is the vertical intercept? You guys, is vertical intercept x-intercept or y-intercept? Talk to me. It's y. So you let x be a 0. So that would be 0, comma something. Look at the table. If x is a 0, then y is 2,100. What does it mean? 0 years after 1990 is 2,100. Well, you'd never say 0 years after 1990. What would you say? In 1990, right? So in 1990, there were 2,100 students enrolled. Write 2 ordered pairs using 1990 and 2000. What is the average rate of change between 1990 and 2000? Interpret the practical meaning. Everybody in the room, tell me what average rate of change means. Tell me. It's slope, okay? 1990 is this guy. It's right there. No years have passed, and you have 2,100 students. Which ordered pair is 2000? Guys, the 5x value or the 10? Talk to me. The 10. 10 years after 1990 is the year 2000. So we're going to go 10, comma, 2,350. Okay? Now we're going to find the slope. Everybody go m equals 2,350 minus 2,100 over 10 minus 0. So everybody go 2,350 minus 2,100, and you get 250. On the bottom you have a 10. Simplify, and you get a 25. That's your slope. You guys, as far as calculators go, the only calculator that I'm going to allow you to use is the calculator that I told you to buy, okay? This is a college level class. I've done everything I can to make it as cheap as I can for you, and requiring you to buy a $10 calculator, this particular one is not asking too much, especially because you're going to use it for the whole year, okay? So please know this is the only one that you can use. Okay, what does that mean? When you read the word slope, I want you to write down the word per. You must include the word per in your explanation, okay? This is wrong. Let's write this down to begin with, okay? So between 1990 and 2000, the number of students enrolled now don't write this down, increased by 25. That is not how many increased during that time, it's how many increased per what? Everybody tell me. Per year, yes, okay. Increased by 25 students, here comes that word, per year. So if they're asking you to interpret an average rate of change or a slope, you must write the word per in there, okay? Question E, what is the average rate of change between 1990 and 1995? So guys, that would be 0, comma, 2,100, and then it would be 5, comma, 2,225. Let's find the slope. So everybody go m equals 2,225 minus 2,100 over 5 minus 0. So 2,225 minus 2,100 is 125. Divided by 5 is 25. Interpret it. Okay, so we're going to say between 1990 and 1995, you could say the enrollment was increasing at a rate of, slope is a rate, 25 students, finish my sentence, per year. Good job. Jane, is it time? Did I say 25? Yeah. I did, okay. So just, the video will be uploaded, okay? And then, so just finish watching it and get your homework done, okay? So, you can't use that one. It has to be the one I asked you. Make sure your phone's not in your pocket, okay? There's this. I'm just going to put you right out here in the hallway. Remove your book for me, please. You've got to get that one. Have until the bell rings, yeah, will be the exact time, yes. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, hopefully we're almost done. I want you guys to look at those quizzes you took. Okay, so you have to memorize the different forms, okay? So here is slope-intercept form. I have a very easy time remembering what that is because if you look at it, the slope is right there and the y-intercept intercept is right there. So the slope and the y-intercept are very clearly just sitting right there for you to see, okay? Point slope form looks like this, okay? So you have to know the difference. So question 7, determine the equation that passes through the given point with the given slope. We're going to put this guy in slope-intercept, and we're going to put this guy in point slope, okay? So everybody go, write down y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Okay, that's the formula you're going to use. So everybody go y minus the y value. That's minus a negative 4, which is a what, everybody? Plus 4. Yeah? Is equal to the slope, which is a 4, times x minus the x value, which is a 2. Okay? I'm actually going to switch it. Make this one point slope, and make this one slope intercept. So you have to know the difference, or else you're not going to write it correctly. So guys, point slope form, look at up above. Point slope form is exactly what we just did. Stick the numbers in. Literally, you're done. That's point slope form. Okay, let's do the next one. So the equation is y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. What you're going to do is you're going to plug in a y sub 1, you're going to plug in an m, and you're going to plug in an x sub 1. So anything I just highlighted, a number goes into. Okay, so it's going to be y minus a negative 3. Minus a negative 3 is a plus 3. Is equal to the slope, which is a negative 2, times x minus the x value, which is 6. Now, that's point slope form. They asked me for slope-intercept form. You guys look at slope-intercept form. It's solved for y. So now I have to solve this guy for y. Okay, so everybody go y plus 3 equals, distribute the negative 2, and you get negative 2x plus 12. Then the 3 comes over and becomes a negative. So you get y equals negative 2x plus 9, because 12 subtract 3 is a 9. Highlight your answer, and you're done. That's it. Okay, question 8. Determine both the point slope and the slope intercept for an equation that passes through these points. Everybody write this down. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Take your highlighter. Highlight the y sub 1, the m, and the x sub 1. If it's highlighted, you're going to put a number in. Now you guys tell me. I need to know an x value, a y value, and a slope to be able to use this formula. So here's what they've given me. What don't I know? Why can't I use that formula yet? Tell me. You don't know the slope, right? You don't know the m. Well, let's do it. Everybody go, m equals 3 minus a negative 1. Minus a negative 1 is a plus 1. On the bottom, 0 minus 4. 3 plus 1 is a 4. 0 minus 4 is a negative 4. My slope is a negative 1. Okay? Now, when I use the point, I have a question for you. Does it matter which point I use? You tell me. Does it matter? Come on, guys. Does it matter? Doesn't matter. It does not matter. So I always just choose the easiest one. Which one looks easier? 0, 3 looks a lot easier to me than the other one. Let's use that formula now. Y minus the y value, that's a 3, is equal to the slope, which I just found to be a negative 1, times x minus the x value, which is 0. Bless you. That's an answer. What form is that? Don't look and make yourself remember. What's the name of that form? Point slope. Write that down for me, okay? Point slope. They also wanted in slope intercept, which means solve for y. So let's do that. So you have y minus 3 equals a negative 1 times x is a negative x. A negative 1 times 0, that's just a 0. I'm not even going to write anything. Move my 3 over, and I get y equals negative x plus 3. Highlight my answer, and that is called what? Don't peek. Remember, what is it? Slope-intercept. Good, write that down. Very good. Okay, 2 more, and then we're going to get those quizzes back. Okay, question B, I can't use the equation until I know the slope. So everybody go, m equals 6 minus 5 over 1 minus a negative 3. Minus a negative 3 is a plus 3. 6 minus 5 is 1. 3 plus 1 is a 4. So now I know my slope. Look at the 2 points. I would choose 1, 6. Doesn't matter. So now I'm going to go y minus 6. Y minus the y value is equal to the slope, which is 1/4, times x minus the x value, which is a 1. Tell me again without peeking anywhere, what form is that called, you guys? Point slope. Now we're going to do slope-intercept, okay? Now, I want everybody to listen. I don't think that your teacher showed you to do it this way last year. I think this way's easier. What's the worst part about that problem right there? Tell me. The fraction. Guess what? I can knock the fractions out in 1 step. And if I knock the fractions out, it makes the problem so much easier. Everybody just chill out for a second. Look, okay? Bless you. Here's a term. Here's a term. And this is considered all one term. Why is that considered all one term? Because those things are multiplied together. It's like saying if you had an x and a y, then the x is a term and a y is a term. That's false. They're multiplied, so together they just make one term. Who says I understand what you're saying? Okay, what number makes this problem yucky? What number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, what makes it ugly? Tell me.
4.
The 4, right? Because if the 4 wasn't there, it wouldn't be a fraction anymore, right? So multiply this by 4, this by 4, and this by 4. Now look what you've got. 4 times y is 4y, minus 6 times 4 is 24. Look what happens right here. You're multiplying 4 by 1/4. Can you tell me what 4 times 1/4 is? It's just a 1. Look, put a 1 underneath. On the top, 4 times 1 is 4. On the bottom, 4 times 1 is 4. You just multiply across. That's a 1. So it's gone. Doesn't that look so much easier? You just have an x minus 1 right there. Tell me, does that look easier to you? Way easier, right? So knock them out. Move your 24 over. So you have 4y equals x. The 24 comes over and becomes a positive, so you have a plus 23. Now you divide by 4. And you get y equals x over 4 plus 23 over 4. Okay? Now, this is acceptable. It's awkward, though. See the x over 4? What's the number in front of the x, but we don't write it? It's a 1. So it's way better to write this as y equals 1/4 x plus 23 over 4. Both are correct, both are full credit. The bottom one is way less awkward, and it's going to serve you better to do it that way. Okay? Okay, last problem. If f of x is a times x plus 4, and f of 2 is negative 2, find the value of a. Everybody look right here. F of 2 equals negative 2. Put an arrow right there to that 2. Is that 2 an x value or a y value? Talk to me. That's an x value, so write down x value. So that blue that I just highlighted tells you that if x is 2, then finish my sentence, everybody. Y is a negative 2. Good, write that as an ordered pair. Now I've got this equation. They want me to find a, so don't put anything in for a. How can I find a? Does anybody know? Go ahead, honey. Yeah, put 2 in for x and negative 2 in for y and solve for your a. Good, honey. So it would be negative 2 equals a times x, which is 2, plus 4. So all I did is put a negative 2 in for y and a 2 in for x. Move your 4 over and it becomes a negative. So I have 2a equals negative 6 divide by 2, a equals -3, and I'm done. Okay? Who says I'm good? I get this lesson. Lots of information. Raise your hand if you're good. Are we okay? All right.